Yes, it says we are live. All right. Hey, Facebook. If you are seeing this right now, my special guest and I, her name is Chenné. We are just doing some quick tech checks. So bear with us. And if you're watching the replay, you might want to fast forward about 20 seconds. But yes, Chenné, it looks like it's on my wall.
Okay.
So if you want to go share it onto yours or worry about that later, I'll leave that up to you. What's that?
I said I'll do it later.
Do it later. We got too much going on right now, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, hey guys, very excited for this. Hang on, I'm checking one last thing, I promise. My goodness. Okay, we're good. Greetings, everybody. Happy Thursday. Now I got my ish together. This is, I don't even remember, episode or round 23 maybe for the Broker Showdown. Crazy excited for today's guest, Chenné Feaster. She is out of Charleston, South Carolina. Correct me if I'm wrong. Charleston.
Correct. That is correct.
Broker owner of Changing Lives Forever Home Solutions. I just love the name, Changing Lives Forever Home Solutions. And you might be asking, what the heck is the Broker Showdown? If this is your first time plugging in or first time with us hanging out, I'll just briefly explain and then introduce Chenné in a more appropriate manner. The Broker Showdown is it's just fun. It's edgy. It's on the fly. And the rules of the game are there really are no rules other than the fact that each of us gets 3 questions each for the other person. So I've got 3 questions prepared for her. She's got 3 questions for me. Neither of us know what the heck we're going to ask each other, which is part of the fun. And it's not meant to stump each other. It's really meant to dive in the unprepared answer to really gain the wisdom, the value, the insights, the lessons that we have to share. And so I'm excited for this. Now, on a personal note, Chenné and I, we've been in business together, running together for, how long has it been? How much?
Almost 2 years.
I was going to say, at least, yeah, approaching a couple years anyways. And I can just tell you, having spent time with her in person at our broker events and obviously online and doing things like this, abundance is probably the first word that comes to mind, but her personality shine. She's so magnetic. She is a people person, but make no mistake about it. Underneath the big smile and amazing just demeanor, she is one smart and tough cookie. She don't mess around. Okay. So she's so sweet. Yes, she's very sweet, but she knows what the heck she's doing, and she is a force and an incredible leader. And I really, truly mean that, having gotten to know you. Your agents that run with you and work with you are very blessed to have a leader like you. So thank you for who you are. Thank you for being here and my special guest on the Showdown. So I'm going to toss to you real quick. Just tell us a little bit more about you, your background, the brokerage, anything you want, and we'll take it from there.
All right. Well, thank you for this opportunity. I am, as he said, Chenné Feaster, owner and broker in charge of Changing Lives Forever Home Solutions. We are located in Charleston, South Carolina. However, we service all of the surrounding areas. I've been in the industry for about 13 years, between being an agent and a broker in charge, and an investor for well over 26 years. And I just lead a group of 25 amazing agents who are really focused on helping to change the lives of their clients by just giving them great understanding, education. So we are really people persons. I'm also a wife to my amazing supportive husband, Carl Feaster, a mom of 3 grown adult kids, and my one fur baby, Judah, who basically runs the house. And lastly, I'm a retired combat Army veteran, and I did an early retirement from the federal government. So that's who I am.
Let's go. And hey, let's all take the opportunity. If you're watching this, leave a comment. Thank you for your service and dedication and all of the things. It's pretty amazing. I sometimes forget that about your background, and I certainly don't mean to. So thank you.
Sure thing.
All right, guys. Well, if you don't know me, again, this is my TV show. I'm just kidding. My name is Jake Dixon, founder, CEO of The Locker Room, where I have the pleasure of working with amazing leaders and agents like Chenné and her team on all things related to growth, retention, productivity, and profitability. That's really our MO, the things that we focus on here at the Locker Room. I'm also, I've published 3 books. That's a little fun fact. I'm author of 3 books. And I'm in the business right now of getting ready to launch another vertical called the Coaches Brokerage, really designed for current or aspiring real estate coaches that want to scale and actually go from just coaching to running a coaching business, two very, very different things. So excited for all, I'm a serial entrepreneur, never can rest. And sometimes it's a blessing and a curse. But like Chenné, I'm a father, I'm a husband, got 2 beautiful daughters who are 10 and 12 years old. And we're just like professional Uber drivers, it feels like some days right now with all the things that they're into. So without further ado, Chenné, are you ready to rock and roll?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Well, this is, I get to go first. I get to ask you first question.
Okay.
Why? I don't know, just because. So here's my first question to you. And I love asking this because it was, probably 2 or 3 years ago by now. In fact, Chenné, at that time, you might have been one of them that I'm referring to here. And that is this. I went on a mission in 90 days and I ended up interviewing 100 independent broker owners. And I was going through and asking them a series of questions, this being one of those questions. So here it is. Let's imagine with me, just pretend for a minute that I'm an agent in Charleston and I'm considering making a move. I want you to give me your condensed version of what is your unique value proposition. Why would an agent like me consider joining your brokerage? In other words, and not that you ever would, I want you to do so without ever disparaging anybody else. And again, you wouldn't do it anyways, but I just want to add that in there. So what is your unique value proposition?
So basically at CLF, if you are looking for a brokerage where you just receive a login and someone to wish you good luck, then that's not us, right? We are here to help our agents with structure, coaching, and basically a clear path for their production. So in our company, we pride ourselves off of ensuring that our agents really understand what to do on a daily basis. So we come up with a strategic plan that is geared and focused around them, their life, and their goals, and we help them to execute that. So another thing that we are huge on, even though we are a boutique brokerage, we do have big box office systems. But one of the things that makes us so unique is we have a huge accountability system amongst the agents, and we definitely have a great community of fostering that just good relationships of agents in our company. So if that is you and you're looking for a place that sounds like what I just described, CLF is the place for you.
Ooh, she even closed me right there. I like it. Okay. So, first of all, I would expect nothing else. And I want everybody to pay attention to what she not just said, but what she didn't say. And this was kind of the point of my question here. What I didn't hear you say is anything really about tech stack. I didn't hear you talking about commission splits and fees and all that. I didn't hear that. And that is exactly why I've learned to ask this question to people, because going back to those 90 days when I was interviewing 100 brokers, what do you think I heard most of the time?
You probably heard them say that, oh, our fees are this, and we have this system, that system, and we're going to, that's not us. We don't, of course, those things are important to your business. However, we want to make sure you as the agent, as a business owner, are comfortable and you have the education to be able to get to the rest of those things that everyone else talks about.
That's it. So yeah. I heard you more or less, I don't mean to, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but the personal attention that you give each agent, seeing them as an individual, understanding their goals, coming up with unique action plans, and providing the support to allow them to thrive inside of your world. And the second big thing I heard you say was the community. It's not just you, it's actually everybody who's willing to roll up the sleeves, support one another. And that is a very, very difficult thing to achieve as a leader. I want people to recognize how hard that actually is that you have successfully done, while also bragging of how amazingly impactful that is when you surround yourself with other like-minded abundant people, other agents, because it's so cutthroat. Otherwise, it can be very competitive. And you've managed to create a culture of collaboration, I would say, right? And so here's my follow up question to all of that. What inspired that? Like, where did that come from? Is that just your heart in action, or did you go through something that says, if I ever started a brokerage, here's what I would want it to feel like? Like, where did that come from? I'm just curious.
So it came from hearing the frustrations of agents, right? And so you, as a broker, I always wanted to do something different. It's just not about the numbers. Of course, the numbers are important, but people are people. And oftentimes agents join a brokerage where they feel like you sold me all of this good things, but when I got here, then I became a number. And so I never want my agents to feel like they're just a number in the company, right? I want to make sure that they have all of the tools to help them, not only professionally, but personally. And then I also have a background in HR. So human capital is extremely important to me. I care about the person. If the person is good, the person is whole, the person has the tools they need to be successful, then the person can overflow and give out of what they currently have, and so be able to help those others. So that's kind of where that came from.
That's so good. I love that you shared that, dipping into your background, that HR, and I knew that about you really helped shape from prior experiences what you wanted this to look like. And you're unwavering on that. I know we've had conversations of you're very clear of what your standards and expectations are of others and what you're willing to allow in.
Yeah,
And if somebody violates that, you have no problem inviting them out.
you're right.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. All right. Well, you passed the test on the first one. Now it's your turn to ask me one question.
So I know that you've been doing this for a while, and there are so many different types of agents in their level, right? Agents are in a different level in their careers. So, what is one habit or even a behavior that you immediately notice that tells you, hey, this agent is going to win?
Ooh. Okay. So one habit based on my experience or observation, a quality about them that says, yeah, this person's going to make it. Well, I will say, and anybody, brokers, especially leaders watching this, you've probably done what I've done plenty of times where I judged, the people I thought coming in that were going to kill it didn't. And the ones that, not that I cast them aside, but maybe they weren't so loud or flashy and they're just kind of went about their thing quietly. I'm like, yeah, they'll be all right. They're a good cultural fit. Ended up being the ones I'm celebrating on stages with. So it's just absolutely amazing. And so, one quality, one thing. All right, I could take this a lot of different directions. Though I think where I'm going to go is, and not just because I'm a coach, it's those who have the ability to set their ego, and we all have ego. I'm not saying ego is like a negative thing per se, but set their ego aside and they're coachable and they're willing to embrace accountability. So those are two things, but I'm going to clump them into one basically. Those who have that it factor, the intangible. I don't care so much what your background was, or if you're a current agent. I don't need to be impressed with how many units you close annually or what your GCI is. Actually, what impresses me is not the tangibles, it's the intangibles. And I have seen a consistent pattern. It's not a surprise, but it's definitely worth noting to your question. The agents that thrive, they succeed and do so in a fun way, a business-like way, because we're dealing with serious business, man. This is most people's biggest investment of their life. It's not a game. It's not a joke, right? People are not just leads. It is the agents who sprint towards accountability and or some form of coaching and mentorship versus the ones who don't. Now, I used to run an indoor baseball training facility called the Player's Edge. By the way, shout out to all my Player's Edge peeps. And I was giving lessons to kids, young all the way through college and professional ranks, frankly. And it was no different there. I would know in an instant if a kid was listening to me or if his parents were just wasting their money, and I would always explain to them the same way that I teach you to grip a ball or hold a bat and do all these things in the game of baseball is the same exact way that the men and or women in softball are doing it on television. And they're earning millions of dollars playing a kid's game that entertains us. So I would make that point in the lesson basically being the fundamentals of the game don't change. The blocking and tackling, how to grip a ball, how to hold a bat, all the fundamentals of the game don't change. What changes is that the game speeds up. So now instead of throwing 50 miles an hour in Little League, they're throwing 90 to 100 miles an hour in the major leagues. But guess what? Fundamentals didn't change. The game just sped up. So the translation here into real estate is those who embrace coaching, they master the fundamentals. They're okay being called out by a coach or a peer for doing something wrong, or, hey, try this instead, without building resentment. That's typically who you see accelerating through the ranks, earning one day millions of dollars, because they understand, I just need to master the mundane. I'm gonna master the fundamentals, because for me to close 12 homes per year is exactly what it takes to close 112 homes per year. The game doesn't change. In that case, the game just sped up. So I hope that answers your question of what is the pattern? What do I observe? The one quality that separates others from the rest? Gosh, I could list a bunch of them. But in this day and age, when things are tough, at the time of us recording this, seek counsel, seek accountability, seek a coach, seek a mentor, somebody like Chenné, who's obviously polished and she's been through the ups and downs, and she's not going to say, nor would I, that I've got it all figured out, but we're probably a chapter or two ahead for some of you, and we can spare you some of the heartache and time and money that we had to go through.
Right.
You know? And last thing I'll say on this whole thing, and I'll be quiet, is accountability itself. Sometimes that triggers people. It triggered me, okay, for years. I don't know where it came from, but I do know I greatly value autonomy, okay? Hence, I'm self-employed. For many, many years, I associated the word accountability to mean micromanagement. Accountability meant in my mind that somebody was looking over my shoulder and I had to report to the boss, and that's just how I was somehow conditioned to think about the word accountability. And then I got smart. Then I observed, I got in better rooms, bigger associations, and I started to take notice of, like, well, all these people I'm around and want to be more like all have a coach. They all sprint towards accountability. So what do they know that I don't know? And so I started to dig into that. And actually, accountability is just that. It's somebody holding up the mirror, reminding you, showing you what you once said was important to you, what you said you were going to do. And then I just get to hold the mirror up and say, Chenné, you told me this was important to you. You told me that this is exactly what you were going to do to achieve that. The audio is not matching the video. Is that no longer important to you? Has something changed? That's accountability. It doesn't have to mean writing a check to the political party you despise. It doesn't have to mean going into the Walmart parking lot singing "I'm a Little Teapot" while I Facebook Live you. Like that doesn't have to be a penalty associated with accountability, like a lot of people think it's a penalty or some, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I've said enough. What are your thoughts on the whole thing?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, accountability is super important. And just like you said, oftentimes, and I tell my agents this, oftentimes a lot of people don't want to make a plan, because if they don't achieve the plan, then it won't help. It gives them the facade of not failing. And so having someone there to hold you accountable, and that kind of separates you from those who actually win and execute, because you got the support, as opposed to those who just let it go by the wayside.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. I know you and I see eye and eye on that one for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hopefully I passed with flying colors, but I got another question for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So you're a visionary. Otherwise you wouldn't be a business owner typically. So let's go, I don't know, a few years out at least. None
Yeah.
of us know what tomorrow is going to bring, let alone a few years, but just humor me. So let's look 3 years out into the future. What advice would you give real estate agents who are watching this perhaps right now so they remain relevant and at the center of the relationship, at the center of the transaction well into the future? And the context, by the way, is because AI, social media, different companies are maybe trying to remove the value that a real estate professional brings to what we do for a living. So, how do we prevent that? How can you make sure we remain relevant and at the center of it all for years to come? What would you say?
Um, so what I would say is in that scenario, agents who are going to survive and yet thrive are the ones that are focused on relationships over transactions, right? As you said, technology is evolving. AI is a huge thing. However, people still want guidance and trust of the human, right? So, understanding as an agent, if you're not building your database, you're not, nurturing your sphere and not positioning yourself basically as an expert, you are going to be replaced by convenience, right? So agents need to really start thinking about their real estate business as a business. You are a business owner. So understanding how to track your numbers and understanding your pipeline and understanding how to build those systems. And I'm a true believer that agents who treat their business casually, they're not going to last long to be sustained in the next 3 to 5 years.
There's a lot there. Right or wrong, I agree with everything you just said. I wrote down three big things. I mean, in each one of these, we could just spend an hour on alone. You just said something profound. Replaced by convenience.
Yeah.
I've not quite heard it that way. If we don't keep the relationship intact, put people first, you will be replaced by convenience. That hit right there. I also heard so that relationships and then treating it like a business.
Yeah. You
Hmm.
have to.
What?
It's not just about showing houses. It's just not about,
Mhm.
opening the doors and closing deals. To be sustainable, you are a business owner. And I teach
Mhm.
my agents that when they come, one of the first things we talk about is, do you have an LLC? Because I don't want to pay your name. I want to pay your business a commission check. And so that's
How?
something I'm huge on.
So aside, yes, I think operating a business is that it's knowing your numbers, having systems, everything that you listed. But I think before that, correct me if I'm wrong or what your thoughts are.
Mhm.
I think a lot of it starts with the mindset, don't
Absolutely.
you? So how do you tackle going from, oh, I just got my license, I'm just an agent, to no, 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 you're not. Not here at our brand. You're a business owner who just happens to help people buy and sell home. How do you switch that? What does that look like in your world?
Funny thing, that is the second question I think I want to ask you about the mindset.
You don't get to yet. No, no, no. You go
So,
first. Sorry.
it's all about understanding coming into the industry, right? HGTV and all of these other platforms, show you the exterior, but it doesn't show you what happens behind the scene. And I used to be a real estate instructor. And so when I taught the material, I mean, right there and then in the moment, a lot of the students had to realize this isn't only about showing houses, it's a whole nother business. And so shifting your mindset from being individual to business owner takes um, education, one, and two, commitment.
Mhm.
It You just can't, expect for your business to thrive and you don't have a goal and a plan, and that comes from your mindset. So shifting your mindset and really understanding that, hey, I'm a business owner and here are the things I need to do, not to only open a business but how to be sustainable. You
Yeah.
just have to do it.
Yeah, it is a perspective shift and seeing the long term because so many get in it for freedom, flexibility, and finances.
Yeah.
And for many entering the business, at least, it is a foreign concept or idea because most of us, myself included, came from a traditional Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden I want to become a business owner. So there's a lot to unpack with that, but I love it. It's mindset first, which you help coach to. You lead your agents through that. That's part of the value you bring to being with you. And then now that I have the proper mindset, I'm going to view things differently, and I can get into the tactical stuff like building out the systems and some of those areas to where I'm actually operating something, not just opening doors.
Right.
Good. That's really good stuff. Okay. Sorry. And I should have warned you. I do ask follow-up questions, and you're allowed to ask them too if there
No
are any. So,
worries.
okay. All right. Number 2 from you, I think we're on.
Yeah, so I was thinking about mindset, but you already answered that. So, almost in that same vein, I would
Okay.
say, in your opinion, what separates an agent who stay consistent year round from those who don't? And you almost kind of already answered this, but
Yeah.
just a
Okay.
short, yeah,
Consistent year round versus those that aren't. That's the
yeah,
basis of the question?
yeah,
Okay. I'm going to say what separates agents who are producing consistently year round from those who are not. I mean, it's right there actually in the question is consistency, right? I was just talking about a group with this earlier. So quick example, and then I'll fully answer it. Yesterday, I was on a group coaching session with some agents. You know who you are if you're watching, and we were looking at, okay, all of you have unique goals, intended outcomes in a 90-day period of time that we had established. All right. So we go around the room and everybody's goals and things are different. Fair. But when you start going and assessing the goal compared to the actual, the reality, how are we on track? Are we off track? What's good? What's not working? All of those questions begin to emerge. Right. And I shared with them a quick little checklist, a mental checklist that I've used over the years that's worked with me in this context, and that is this: if there's a gap between what I desire and what I said I was going to achieve and where I'm currently at, I first look at that C word, the consistency word, because there's nothing else to talk about. If you're inconsistent, you're going to get inconsistent results. Like that's obvious. Consistent activity equals consistent results, period, full stop, end of story. So let's pretend though they're like, no, I'm tracking my numbers, I'm making contacts, I'm doing everything consistently. Okay, cool. I can check that. Move to number 2 in my mental checklist. If you're consistent, then I look at the quality. A lot of people say, well, the quality is in the quantity. I don't know. Maybe it is. But I don't want to subscribe to that philosophy just because some smart person once upon a time said it. Well, sales is a numbers game. You just got to talk to more people. Really? That's it? Or could there be alternative solutions? So I believe the quality is in the quality. Hello. So when I'm examining the quality, assuming that they are consistent, then I look at, well, what's the quality of the contact? What's the quality of the conversation? What's the quality of the questions? What's the quality of your presentation? Right? I can go down this checklist of quality because if I'm talking to nothing but cold leads, cold people that don't know me, that's going to be a very different output than me talking to 10 of my friends. All right. So the quality is in quality. Finally, if they say, well, I'm consistent, the quality checks out, then the third checkpoint for me is I go to skill set. What is the skill gap? Then and only then can I, with a straight lens, and so could you, look at where is it in the words, the presentation, like there's a skill that maybe we can sharpen and isolate to help you get a better conversion or whatever the case may be. So back full circle, when you ask me that, obviously consistency in and of itself separates people who get consistent results all year long versus those who are just dabbling kind of in and out, hot, cold, riding that real estate roller coaster. But it also can go deeper than that because I see the people also have a quality database. They also have a skill set where they're practicing and role playing scripts and dialogues and situations and different things like that. So there's a lot beneath the surface that certainly our clients don't see, and that's okay. But it's more for what's behind the surface that agents to agents don't see about each other. We go to conferences and see people on stage and we start to idolize them. Oh, it just seems to come so easy to them. It just seems to come natural. Wow, I wish I was. Don't for a second play that comparison game, because you don't know the sleepless nights and every day that they're scripting and role playing, the sacrifices and decisions and commitments they made to get on that stage. Don't belittle what they've been able to achieve just because you're kind of shrinking yourself along the way.
Right. You said a mouthful,
I
and
know.
but I love it though, because one of the things that you said is certainly important is the skill set.
Yeah.
And when an agent comes to my company, we sit down and we talk through, well, even when I interview an agent, I ask them, what are they looking for in a broker? A brokerage and a broker. And what are their goals? And so I don't, like you said, I assume nothing. Learned that in the military, right? Never assume anything. And so when we sit down and we talk, I treat every single agent that comes here from the beginning as the basics, because I don't ever want to assume that you have a skill set that you knew nothing of, right? And then, like you said, comparing yourself to someone else, you don't know the hours, the labor that they put in to have that successful business. You just don't know. And so, what I always tell my agents, hey, look at what they're doing and see if you can duplicate what they're doing. Don't envy them at all, because like your component is you from
Yes.
yesterday.
Yes.
So don't ever compare yourself to someone else. You always want to make sure you're better today than you were yesterday. So
Hey, that'll preach right there. I love that so much. And it's I mean, we're human beings. A lot of times we're busy being, and part of being is we're judgmental creatures. We compare, we idolize things, and it back to the mindset conversation. We've got to be aware. Awareness is transformation. As long as I'm aware, then I can't necessarily control the first thought that comes in my head, but I can control the second, and I can control the response to it. A lot of us are busy reacting. Between a stimulus and a response, there's a gap there where I get to decide, do I want to respond or do I want to react? React is generally emotional and not good for anybody. If I can just pause, take a deep breath, and decide how I want to respond, then I'm more in control of in managing my own emotions.
you're right.
So
And even like you just said, it is the difference of being proactive so you don't have to be reactive. If
yeah,
you are proactive and you're already putting things in place, you have a system in place, my agents will tell you one of the things I talk about every single time we meet is time blocking, time management. So if you're proactively ensuring that you know what your day is going to look like, then as things come up, it's going to help you to react so much better than to always be off guard when things happen to you. So
that's great. That's
love
great.
it.
Good stuff right there.
Yes.
All right, is it my turn? I got one more question
Yes,
for you. Is it my
you do.
turn? Here's my final one. So my last question for you, you're doing great, by the way, is a little bit more reflective in nature, might require you to be a little bit more vulnerable. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. So looking back, knowing what you know now, looking back your journey and all the hurdles and obstacles you've had to overcome, is there a mistake or a pitfall, maybe or two, that you can think of that A, you've had to overcome? What is that? So maybe somebody can relate with it. And B, what was the lesson? What did you learn from it, on how it's helped shape who you are today and the way you lead others today? Make sense?
It does.
Okay, go
Um,
for it.
like you said, mistakes. I always think of mistakes as an opportunity for improvement, right? And so, one of the biggest things that I've learned on this journey is you can't do everything by yourself. You can't. So, understanding that I needed systems in place, and I needed to leverage the support that was at my fingertips. Oftentimes we say, oh, I can do it myself because it's so much easier. But being able to leverage support that's around you with either an admin or operations manager, a TC, or something of that nature, that helps to free you up to do with my operation manager always says, your God given talent, right? And so I've learned that. And then the other thing I learned is that, not every agent is a good fit for your brokerage, right? And that is okay. I tell my agents, not every client is a good fit for you either. And so, of course, we're here in Charleston, South Carolina. So there is a church on every single corner. However, I go to my church because my church feeds me, it helps me to grow, and there's a pure connection there. Likewise, that's just like another brokerage, right? And so every agent isn't your agent, and it's okay. Just because they're not in my company doesn't mean that I can't communicate and still, talk with them and fellowship with them. No, it's just the fact that understanding that everyone isn't designed to be here, and that's perfectly fine. And so, learning those different things, I really understood the importance of structure, right? Ensuring that I had a firm foundation in my company. So we have structure, and then conveying clear expectations needed to be something that's important and shared and conveyed, and then alignment. So everything that we do is very intentional. And I ensure that as we're being intentional, we're able to bring on how we train and support the agents. So that was something that I really had to learn. And now we are really fostering to make sure all things move smoothly.
Well, this time you shared a lot. What did you say? I shared a mouthful last time. That was really good. Couple things at least that I extracted from that was the importance around leverage, structure. I heard you use that word, and understanding really where your God-given talents and passions lie, owning that, leaning heavily into that, but then being okay and delegating or leveraging the things that don't, or you're not particularly wonderful at.
Right.
And I really heard you preach about alignment or who you're in business with matters kind of thing. And I told you all she was abundant when I introed her. Listen to that. There's some people, and teach their own, that say they operate as if every agent has to go to them, and if they don't, they're stupid and crazy and shame on you. You didn't hear that from Chenné. She understands fully what her standards and expectations and who's going to thrive in her environment and who's probably not for her. And that's okay. You and I, right? Simon Sinek, who says, the goal in business is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with those who believe what you believe. In other words, alignment, right? Doesn't make them bad, doesn't make Chenné better than or anything like that. It's just we're not a fit, we're not aligned, and that's okay. So I just love that philosophy. Was it always that way?
It has
Or
been.
yeah,
Yeah, because I learned early on in my career as just an agent that every client isn't your client.
yeah,
And so to ensure I protect my peace,
yeah, yeah.
peace is very important. So as long as I'm protecting my peace, I just have to understand that. And I share that with my agents. If you have a family member who decided to purchase with someone else, it's okay. If for whatever reason they didn't come to you, as long as you make sure you've done your part,
Yeah.
soliciting your business and making sure you're giving education, it's if they don't choose you, it's okay. Then God has someone else there that you're supposed to help. So likewise in the company, when I first opened my brokerage, I prayed, I'm like, Lord, I only want 10 agents. That's what Chenné said. I only want 10 agents. And literally, it was just like, don't put a limit on me.
Yeah.
And immediately that my first year as a broker in charge, we ended the year with 15 agents. Not from me soliciting, not from me recruiting, organically. People saw that what we were doing felt like, it was a good fit for them, and they joined on their own.
Yeah.
So
Be a part of that.
they
Yeah.
wanted to be a part of it. So it's okay. Everybody isn't for you.
Well,
Another thing, real quick, I always say when you go to a grocery store, how many variation of bread do you see?
oh,
So many different variations of bread. It doesn't take away from the other brands. It's just the fact I like what I like, you like what you like.
That's
That's
it.
it.
I'm officially stealing that analogy. I'm a sucker for a good analogy. Like
That's
that's
it.
I've never heard that. The bread analogy.
Yeah.
That's so and think it is okay. It's not like we say that to like convince ourselves. No, it's okay. I don't have to hire every agent. No, it's definitely okay because think about the 28 agents that I believe you said you have right now. That
25.
just means it's
Yeah.
28 of the right agents.
Yeah.
And guess what? They get that much more of you,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it's not bad to grow, guy. I'm not saying stunt your growth. You just heard it from her herself. But the right agents, when you're disciplined about the hiring and or retention of them, just means they get more of you. And
Right.
they want that. You should want that because you're running with the right people.
Right.
Yeah. Amazing. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Can I come work there if I get my South Carolina
Fine.
license? Okay.
Boston.
All right. I think you got one more for me.
One more for you, and it's almost on the same lines of what we were talking about as far as brokerages. We've talked about agents, but you also are a coach to brokers and helping them grow. And so, in your opinion, what do you think, or your perception of the difference between a brokerage growing fast versus a brokerage growing strong?
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going to take it. So, what is the difference between fast and strong?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, okay. Interesting question. Never been asked that before. So, well, okay. So, fast to me, I don't want to be so too much of a simpleton here, but I guess fast to me means, hey, we're hiring agents. I was in a what I would consider a fast growth environment in a previous life, where the standard was you had to go on. It was, oh gosh, I haven't said this in a long time. The 2-10-40, 2 appointments a day, 10 a week, 40 a month. That's the standard. 40 recruiting appointments a month, so that you carry a minimum of a 25% conversion rate. So do the math. I'm hiring at least 10 agents a month, every month. Month closes, guess what? You don't get to breathe. New month just began. To me, that is a very fast pace of growth to your question. There, I'm not going to deliver it as eloquently, but it just hit me with the bread analogy. There's a difference between Jimmy John's, whose marketing slogan is freaky fast, right? They just whip those sandwiches again, boom, they're done. Versus probably if you go to a New York delicatessen and get one of these big old sandwiches that they're known for, I would imagine it takes a little time to build, but it's better ingredients. We're not just slopping whatever amount of mayo on the thing. Okay, I'll get carried away with that. Now I'm getting hungry. So to me, that's fast. Strong, on the other hand, I do believe, first of all, that two things can be true at the same time. So I believe you can grow fast and strong. Okay. I don't think it's one or the other. But to separate the answer, I believe strong is more there's a backbone, back to the systems thing, right? I'm dialed in with my growth system. I'm dialed in with my onboarding system. I'm dialed in with, now that I onboarded them, what happens now, my productivity curriculum or my productivity system. And finally, I'm dialed in with my raving fans plan, or otherwise known as my retention system. I believe that is strong growth, contrary to only fast growth, where maybe you lack the systems. I'm bringing in the people, but the door is wide open behind me because we don't have the systems now to onboard properly, to get them into production properly, to love on them, recognize them, retain them properly. And so to me, that would be the difference. I hope I answered your question. Did that?
You did, and I brought that up, for other brokers because I've had other people share their interest in wanting to open their own brokerage.
Okay.
And one of the things that I really share with them is you got to make sure you have a strong foundation, you have systems in place, and you're ready to receive what's coming.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people just skip over the steps of that infrastructure, if you will, and they move clearly on numbers, quantity, quantity, quantity. And
Sure.
so as a broker, like you said, I think it's extremely important. Like you said, two things can be the same as one, but it's also important to make sure you have a firm foundation so you can grow strong as you continue to move fast. So
I mean, we're in real estate, for God's sakes. If I'm a contractor, I'm a builder. What do I do first? Well, I mean, in theory, I lay a foundation.
right.
Okay. Then I go vertical and the sticks start going up. And then I deal with the roof. And then I finally get to all the sexy stuff of like the cabinets and the countertops and the flooring.
Mhm.
But it's actually right in front of us every day. And brokers and agents, although in real estate and they know how a home is built and goes up, they don't apply that to their businesses. To your point, they just want to skip all the foundational stuff. They want to skip all the sticks and all that stuff. And they just want to go straight to the sexy items of tell me what countertops I can pick. It doesn't work that way. Not, at least not healthy and sustainably. It doesn't.
That's the word, sustainably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a great question. I've never been asked a question like that, to kind of do a dichotomy of strong versus fast, and yet you can have both. That's a really good question. Thank you.
That's my HR brain.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, I'm not quite done with you yet. So that ends the three kind of like rando questions, but I have a rapid fire round to end with, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Just some fun little stuff. Okay. So real quick, so we can get to know you. Favorite movie?
The Woman King.
The Woman, what is it?
The Woman King.
The Woman King. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's and I'm horrible with actors, but it's a movie about African American women who are basically leaders in their own right. And so, of course, I'm African American leader, female. And it just talks about the struggles that they went through and how they overcame it. So it really connected. I'm not a huge movie person, but that's a movie I actually saw a couple of times.
I'll grab my popcorn. I will commit to you to watching that movie.
There you go.
If Chenné says it's good, it's good. All right. Okay. Next one. Unique talent, or maybe it's like a random fun fact about yourself or your life that not too many people know.
Well, everyone knows I'm structured, but one thing people may not know is when I do get an opportunity to get out, I am very adventurous. I love jet skis, and I enjoyed jumping out of planes.
What? I never knew these things about you.
Yeah.
Did you do that in the military? Like time
I did. So, as family, when we go out and cruising and things like that, one of the things, excursions, it always have to be jet skis. When I was in the military, I rode motorcycles. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
You literally learn something new every day. I did not know that about you. And skydiving, even jumping out of planes.
Yeah. I did a tandem jump with the Golden Knights out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Were you kind of like an adrenaline junkie? Did you have that?
I guess. I never thought of it that way, but I guess.
Okay, I'll move on, but I'm just fascinated by that, Chenné. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Couple more real quick, and then we'll land the plane here.
Sure.
You see what I just did there?
Yeah.
didn't mean to. Favorite vacation and why?
Favorite vacation is cruising with my late grandfather. My grandfather passed last year, but one of the things we did as a family is we would go on a cruise for Thanksgiving. And so it's something I enjoy. It's family time. So yeah, we're still going to do it in honor of him this year. So I'm excited about that.
Do you, just a follow-up question for me personally, do you have a favorite cruise line? Are you a diehard Royal Caribbean or like?
Not.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I just
like
to have fun. A cruise is a cruise. It's what you make out of the cruise.
Amen. Yeah. Yep. You literally have to try not to have a good time, which is why I don't take much in people's reviews and stuff on that stuff. Like, dude, you're on a boat in the middle of a Caribbean island or something. Like,
right.
Up and have a good time. Okay. Last question then. maybe a quick example or something that comes to mind. Do you have a real estate blooper, or maybe like a strange thing that's happened to you? Because I know if you've been in this business long enough, crazy things happen.
Yeah. One thing that does come to mind is we also do commercial real estate, and I was representing a commercial buyer.
Okay.
And I had to go do a walkthrough of the property, and my husband came along with me. Now, my husband's retired military as well, so he's always guarded, he's on alert always. And so I'm walking through this older multi, plex unit, compound, if you will. And I'm looking and I'm seeing all of the opportunities and the potential and the vision. And he's like, it's time to go. Like, how fast can we get out of this place?
Oh,
So so it just tells you, with the two different perspectives where, one, I'm seeing what's being there and then
yeah.
having to convey that to someone else. So I always thought that was funny.
Okay, but now it's a cliffhanger. So was there something that he like picked
So
up on, or
it was well, we were in Charleston, so it was a very older building. Floors were falling in, dark room,
haunting type of
no
a?
electricity.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "So you do this, huh? I don't like those little creepy crawly things." So he's like, "You're afraid of those things. However, you can just go in a building with no guard, just in and out of the doors, and you're okay with that." He was like, "I'm not okay with that."
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, yeah, that's interesting. I've heard all sorts of stories, from hauntings to walking in on something you shouldn't have walked in on, or like there's all kinds of stories out there, man.
Yeah.
Whew. Chenné, this has been amazing, wonderful. You exceeded expectations, even though I had high ones. So thank you for everything and giving me your time, because I know how busy you definitely are. That said,
Absolutely.
if I'm an agent or even a broker, but let's say an agent in your local area, maybe I want to have a conversation with you, or just a fellow broker or something that wants to pick your brain about something. What's the best way to get a hold of you, or website, or anything you're comfortable sharing?
Yeah, so of course we're on all of the social media platforms. So you can find us on Facebook
Okay.
at Changing Lives Forever Home Solutions. Instagram, we are CLF Home Solutions, and on my personal page, I'm Chenné Feaster. So
Yes, yes. And she is, in fact, changing lives forever. You guys, if you're not following her, and if it's local, you don't have a relationship with her, not for me, not for her, do it for yourself. You got to know this woman. You got to follow her and be in her orbit. Trust me. She will leave you better off than you found each other. I promise you that. So we're very grateful, Chenné. You did it. High
thank
five.
you.
Broker Showdown, over and out.
Thank
Great
you
job
so
today.
much, Nick. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're very welcome. Thanks, guys.